thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up. Bang! Quality over quantity. LeBron has beaten some of the best competition in NBA history. He's the GOAT emoji. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not swear. I will not swear.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
Yes, sir. It most certainly is. Woo! We're ready to fly today. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the latest and greatest edition of the Brian Snow Show, where sports is the base, life and fun are the result, presented by BetUS.com and Invader Coffee. We're here to bring you the best in sports analysis, stories, and pure, unadulterated entertainment. I'm Brian, and together we'll embark on a journey that celebrates the power of sports to uplift, inspire, and unite us all. Matt Taylor will join me at the bottom of this hour to talk everything Indianapolis Colts, and I hope you all enjoy it. We had a couple of fan questions that we're going to get to as well. Want anything answered? Drop it in the chat, and I will do my best to answer it for you. But right now, presented by Invader Coffee. No. Check that. And I hope Cole's listening. Around the Horn will be presented to you by SeatGeek. Robert Saleh, the head coach of the New York Jets, is unbothered by Sean Payton's comments that Nathaniel Hackett's tenure as head coach of the Broncos might have been one of the worst coaching jobs in the history of the NFL. After going 5-12, Hackett was let go by the 3-time Super Bowl champion franchise after only one season, and Saleh picked him to be the offensive coordinator. Why? Payton, who won Super Bowl 44 with the New Orleans Saints, was tapped as Hackett's replacement in Denver. I'm not going to acknowledge Sean, Saleh said during his news conference at Thursday's training camp practice. He's been in the league a while. He can say whatever the hell he wants, but as far as what we have going on here, I kind of live by the saying, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. So hate away. Obviously, we're doing something right if you got to talk about us when we don't play you till week 5. And I'm good with it. The guys in our locker room, they've earned everything that's coming to them. Jets, Broncos, week 5. Oh, dear. Mexico City will host the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic for an NBA regular season game in November. Why? And I'm looking, for those of you watching on CSTV, I'm looking over here to my left as I'm reading my stories here. The Atlanta Hawks and Orlando Magic will play a regular season game in Mexico City on November 9th. It will be the 32nd NBA game in Mexico since 1992, more than any country besides the United States and Canada. The Hawks will be playing in Mexico for the first time and the Magic for the 4th time since 2012. NBA Mexico Vice President and Managing Director Raul Zaraga said, quote, "We're excited to welcome the Hawks and Magic to Mexico City next season and give our passionate fans the opportunity to see some of the brightest young stars in the game. There is so much momentum around basketball in Mexico, and this game and the surrounding events will serve as the ultimate celebration of the NBA for fans across the country and throughout Latin America." I don't quite know how to feel about that. I mean, I'm excited that the NBA is back in Mexico, but I don't know. I guess I have this old get off my lawn take.
You fool!
Know that. Quit pushing the buttons. LeBron James thanks fans, says everyone is doing great after son Bronny's cardiac arrest. Thank you, God. Forward LeBron James of the Lakers made his first public statement on social media after his son Bronny was hospitalized on Monday after suffering a cardiac event. A USC basketball commit was working out at the Galen Center during practice with his teammates when he went into cardiac arrest. He was taken to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles and was last reported to be in stable condition after being taken out of the intensive care unit. The elder James posted on social media saying that everyone was doing great and thanked fans for their support. LeBron said, quote, "I want to thank the countless people sending my family love and prayers, us included. We feel you, and I'm so grateful. Everyone doing great," LeBron wrote. We have our family together, safe and healthy, and we feel your love. We'll have more to say when I'm ready, but I want to tell everyone how much your support has meant to all of us. I am so happy to hear that. I am very happy to hear that. Cardiac arrest is no joke. You know, cardiac arrest is no joke, and it's nothing to play with. And to hear that Bronny went into cardiac arrest, it hit me hard as a parent and as a husband, and in my case, as a grandparent. There are just sometimes that that things hit you more than others, and knowing the fact that I had to deal with cardiac arrest after my surgery, it's not fun at all. It's just not fun. So I am so happy, and I mean it from the heart. I'm so happy that everyone in the LeBron James household is doing great. All right. And something that we said yesterday, Victor said it to me. Bronny, please take your time in getting back on the court. Take your time, because you don't want to play around with what is going to be a fabulous career. You don't want to play around with that. Thank you, LeBron, for your report, and thank you to the folks that got to Bronny in time and got him to the hospital and got him treated. And there is Around the Horn, presented by CB. Take a breath before I start crying again, knowing I got children and grandchildren and a family to care for, which I happily do. So let me take a break, and I will tell you, Kevin Durant opened his mouth and his foot may be going in it. I'll tell you why after this. The thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
Thursday nights are wrestling night on CSTV. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to see all the amazing Next Level Pro Wrestling stars on Thursday Night Throwdown on CSTVNow.com and the CSTV app on your Roku device.
PK Tire Pros, your one-stop on-the-spot auto service headquarters for a complete line of quality tires and auto services. For years, we have provided the Stockton, California area with the latest products and unprecedented services for everything we sell. And for years, our customers have been coming back. Take a look around. If you don't find what you need, visit us in Stockton, California. From the latest and best in tire technology to the services required to keep your vehicle looking good and running great, PK Tire Pros can get you out on the road quickly and at an affordable price. Stop by soon and see why so many people consider PK Tire Pros to be the one-stop shop for all of their tire needs. At PK Tire Pros, our friendly and knowledgeable staff, quick and dependable service professionals, and affordable prices all come together to make driving out on a new set of tires easy. On top of that, we never tire of tires. Stop by and see us, and you'll be glad you did.
I've been running
where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
Yikes! Piece of breaking. Here, give me this. Oh my lord! I just read this and I gotta. Piece of breaking news: Joe Burrow has been carted off the field with a calf injury during practice. Yikes! That's the heart and soul. I'm trying to find news on it now. And while I'm thinking about this, I think what I'm going to do is scale this show back to an hour. Oh, Lord. Oh, man. Man, oh, man. I'm sorry. There's about 200,000 things going in my head right now. Thank you, Cole, for that piece of breaking news. Trying to find some news on it right now. Yes, here it is. I found a piece, and it's according to DraftKings. It was carted off the field during practice on Thursday after sustaining an apparent calf injury. They got the video. It could be just as a precaution since it's training camp and practice, though Burrow did have a sleeve on the same leg. Oh, man. Don't have any more information, but that is the piece of information we got, and you can say the same for Jalen Ramsey. I have Matt Taylor coming at the bottom of the hour, but Victor Locke is joining me right now for some random musings. What's up, my friend?
How are you doing, Snowman? What's the deal?
Kevin Durant wants to own a team in Seattle. Your thoughts?
Kevin Durant's doing too much. That's my opinion. My man, you still are trying to find your own identity.
That's the thing. You just hit on the one main thing. He's never found his own identity. He never found it.
Since you left OKC, which being Golden State kind of gave him an identity to be that bulldog in the down low post.
Right.
But now, what is he? He's a hype man for everybody else. When OKC, he was a hype man for Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in Golden State, he became more of his own person. He was still kind of the sidekick to the Splash Brothers, but then everybody on that team was.
But then, let me interject this point. He knew that he was the sidekick to the Splash Brothers. He knew it. Right. He knew it.
Then he went to Brooklyn, became the side piece for Kyrita Pinkett Smith and James Harden. And now he's in.
Excuse me a minute. See, Victor knows how to get me to laugh, especially when I'm tired. But you speak truth. I have no argument.
And now he's in Phoenix. Now he's in Phoenix doing what?
Nothing. I'm sorry, he's doing nothing.
This was going to Phoenix was literally his one final chance to actually be his own person and find his identity, and
they blew it.
And we haven't seen it yet.
And they blew it.
And he's still playing. It's not like he's retired. He's going to be the first ever player / owner of the NBA team. I don't get what's going through his head.
I don't understand it either. He's spoken a bevy of topics, which included that. He was asked about his cannabis business ventures and how players now being able to promote brands that sell marijuana and its byproducts, a byproduct which I do take, which is CBD oil.
Oh, that explains a lot for Kevin. That explains a lot for Kevin Durant. He's high. He's high. He's on the weed. There you go, Stephen A. The message didn't get to Kevin Durant, Stephen A.
No, but at the same time, I can somewhat, and I mean somewhat, advocate for CBD oil, which of course is a byproduct of marijuana and how it's processed and everything, because it helps me sleep.
You know what? I gotta tell this story. So
Please do.
quite a few years ago, there's a couple stories I gotta tell. Quite a few years ago, around Halloween, actually, I was trying to get a trench coat that I was gonna wear for my costume, and I was in my uncle's garage, doors open,
Right.
and as I'm bending over,
Oh no.
I felt like something was like hit me in the back of my leg, and I thought they were like someone was throwing rocks at me.
Right.
And I turned around and one hit me in the eye, and I realized that it was
Ouch.
someone had been doing drive-by paintball gunning.
Oh no.
They would drive by, they would shoot you with a paintball, and they would take off. And I caught a round right in my left eye. Now, thankfully, fine. I just had a black eye. It's okay now. So the elevator pressure seems like it's a little bit, so my left eye tears up a little bit, but I'm fine. The thing,
ouch.
When I went to get my eye tested and everything, they said, "Okay, you're starting to get better. We're just going to give you eye drops and everything." Now, you might get something like a glaucoma, maybe, but that's a rare case. And my mom and I were driving home, and she said, "Yeah, you might have glaucoma. We'll wait on it." I said, "If I do get glaucoma, will you pay for my weed?"
Why'd you say that to your mom?
That was the longest pause in the world.
I bet. I think she wanted to chop you in the chest for that comment.
Oh, she wants to chop me today. She wants to chop me. Well, not for that.
Okay.
So
I know she wanted to chop you in the chest for that question.
Before I hopped in to watch No Man in the Morning, I saw a preview for a movie that's about to come out in October 13th to be exact.
Oh dear.
The movie, The Exorcist Believer.
Why is Richard Pryor in my head right now?
Yeah, no, I know.
You know the exact routine, too.
Oh, I do. I absolutely do.
There's a routine that I will not repeat it here, but there's a routine that Richard Pryor did in 1975 that Victor and I listened to often when we used to live together, and we couldn't sleep, and we would laugh our asses off the entire time.
The funny thing was, so I was texting my mom about it. I said, "I'm sorry, Mom. The movie that came out of your nightmares is about to come back." She's like, "Why? Why?
Why are you messing with your mother like that?"
She asked, "Are they remaking it?" I said, "No, it's a sequel." She said, "They had a sequel already and a prequel. Leave it alone." So I decided to be a troll, and I asked her,
"What did you do?"
I asked her, and I said, "So I take it we are not going to movies to go see that one?" Because my mom was always like, every time the new movie comes, she wants to go with us to go see it.
Right.
The last, I think, was the last the last Fast and Furious movie that came out, and she wanted to see that. I was busy, so I couldn't go. But I asked her, "So we're not going to the movie to see that one?"
You were lucky. Right.
She says, "Absolutely not." In caps.
Use a troll. Troll. Use a troll. Troll. Use a troll. I said that. Use a troll.
And
you ain't got a lick of sense.
I do question.
Why'd you troll your mom? Why'd you troll your mom like that?
It's the relationship we have. We troll each other. But
and it's easy.
Yes. But the thing is like I go back to that.
Jody trolls me all the time.
And I go back to that movie. That movie was scary. See, I watched it when I was older, so it didn't bother me as much. My mom watched it when she was 7 in theaters.
No wonder your mom hates that movie.
Oh, yes. Yes.
No wonder your mother hates that movie.
Well, I'm sorry I took it off topic. Back to KD.
You're wrong for taking it off the rails, but I love you for taking it off the rails. But I see the tie. I see the tie-in. with the way you trolled your mom with that question about the week.
The thing is, KD, you have to think one or the other. You can't. I mean, if we've learned anything from Michael Jordan, it is very hard to go from player to owner.
Oh yeah,
it is extremely hard, extremely taxing to
it's
find
extremely
people.
crazy.
Yes.
It's extremely crazy. And Mike did it for 13 years. MJ did it for 13 years.
Yes. When they were the Bobcats.
Yep. And you know what's bad about Michael Jordan cashing out? They're still giving him mess.
Well, of course they're not. They're going to. And I know which group you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't even have to say it.
No, you don't.
I don't even have to say it. And we're talking about a fellow who, let me think. We're talking about a fellow who, I don't know, cashed out for $3 billion.
I mean,
so the net worth is already off the charts.
Well, yeah, but also the consideration that he basically got $3 billion for a team that probably is only worth 20 cents. I mean, if that's not stellar business.
Only Michael Jordan can turn that team into a sale for $3 billion.
If that's not stellar business, I don't know what is.
Well, I don't have to say the particular group. I will not say it here because we're over the air. You know how they feel.
Of course. Oh,
you know how they feel.
Now, see, if you know who was leading it, they would have had multiple championships, but he can't win championships while on the floor.
No.
So you're saying he win championships on the floor? I'm just saying.
I know.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Where have we heard that before?
Right.
Where have we heard that before? Holy cow.
My question is what is KD's ultimate goal? Is this just a publicity stunt to get more eyes on Phoenix because their basketball play has not been so stellar, so they need help in that retrospect, or what is it? What is it? Because for this to come out of the blue just does not make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, again, it's not like he's retired from basketball. He hasn't retired yet.
No, he hasn't.
He hasn't. So why would you even talk about owning a team right now?
This would be what? His 15th year?
Yeah. And I think he's been in the league for 15 years. Sadly, with one ring to show for it.
No, I think 18 years. I think this is his 18th year.
That's much worse.
Let me find out because we do research here.
Yeah.
Live on the show. Let me get
much worse.
Yeah. Let me get this one. Let me get this read in. Doggone it. All programs on Snowman Multimedia presented by Recruiting Giants, where our mission is connect exceptional talent with exceptional companies. We strive to provide innovative and tailored staffing solutions to help organizations build successful teams. By leveraging our expertise and extensive network of industry professionals, we aim to drive growth, foster long-term partnerships, and positively impact the success of both our clients and candidates. We are dedicated to delivering exceptional service, exceeding expectations, and becoming the preferred staffing partner for businesses looking to recruit top talent. For more information, email Mark Zanetto at info@recruitinggiants.com or call 336-587-3659. 336-587-3659. Recruiting Giants, where talent meets opportunity. Man,
I feel so bad for Burrow right now.
Yeah, we were talking. Just mentioned that, and thank you, Cole, for that. Update.
I feel him. I've had extremely bad calf pulls before.
They hurt, man.
Oh my God, yes.
I've had it too. They hurt.
You've been at Union Station, correct?
Yes, I have.
So you know those escalators that go up from the train tracks up to the mezzanine where all the restaurants are?
Yes.
I got on one of them to go to work, and They
Oh
had
no.
a bad knack of sometimes not working properly. They would actually jerk or something.
Oh
So I
boy.
was standing on the escalator and it jerked and I felt a ripple go up my calf and
Oh.
then extreme pain.
Oh boy.
I thought I tore it because that's how it felt. It felt like it was torn.
Oh man.
But I went to the
Man, I'm
doctor.
so sorry.
It was just a bad pull, so I was okay. But holy moly, when I tell you that pain was so severe,
And you ain't got to tell me twice.
so I feel for Burrow. I hope he has
I
a
do
very
too.
speedy recovery because I do want to see him back on the field.
Me too.
But like you said,
Me too.
From someone that has that, bad medicine.
Very bad medicine. All right, I'm going to make an announcement here.
Okay.
And I think Victor, my engineer, my EP Cole Johnson, my super producer Shane Lake will be happy when I say this. I'm going to scale this show back down to an hour.
Okay.
And I have several hundred reasons why, but I'll give you a few of them. It'll give me more time to get some work done here around the house because I've been away from that, and it's my own fault. It's my own fault.
And
You were worried about me doing too much.
Yeah.
I feel it today.
See.
And I got a 7:00 game to do with the Atlanta Dream and the New York Liberty.
Gotcha.
So I've got to scale this back to an hour.
You need some time to recoup.
Yeah.
Like,
and
remember.
I don't give myself time to recoup. I will admit this aloud, and I think Jody knows it, and I think y'all know it. I know Drew knows it because I don't take time to promote the Sports Essays Unleashed as much as I do the other shows that I have on my network, and that's wrong. And that's completely wrong.
And there's nothing wrong with you having 1 2-hour show and then the rest being an hour.
Yeah, I got to scale it back to an hour. I must scale this back to an hour.
Yeah, remember, Snowman, gone are the days where at Ho Chunk where we can just run through 6-7 games back to back to back. We can't do that anymore.
I can't, even with the 4-hour difference between the end of Snowman in the morning, which is going to get an extension via taped interviews, and the Brian Snow Show. Even with that 4-hour extension, I told Jody this morning something that still rings true, that my energy comes in spurts. And she looked at me and she says, I know that, but you still can knock out this chore, take a rest, that chore, take a rest. Just take rest whenever you do something, because if you don't, then you feel like you won't get everything done.
Yeah, you burn out. Out.
I've been burnt to a crisp. Burnt to a crisp.
Well,
the one thing I know I have to do is I got to take care of some rabbits.
Right.
I know I got to do that. But y'all heard it first. Beginning tomorrow, I'm scaling this back to an hour. I'm still going to do this, mix in the sports, but I'm going back to the original premise of this show. And if I take it back to 2 hours, it'll be via tape.
Right.
It'll probably be via tape anyway.
You can have it where you have one hour being stuff like this, or your stuff with Mike Debate, or everybody else, and you could have it where you could do that for an hour, and then the second hour could be some taped interviews.
I think that's how I'm going to do it. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that suggestion. Because after an hour, I'm burnt out, and it ain't fair to y'all. You can tell, Jody can tell, the fans can tell. So what I'm going to do is have the second hour either be taped interviews or have some pinch hitters standing by. Because during the second hour, it kills me.
You're cooked.
I'm cooked. I'm fried.
I mean, and think about how much you're taking on, because it's not just being in front of the camera or behind the microphone. It's pre-production, post-production. It's all the research you do. It's keeping your voice well trained, and which people don't realize that is so important. People don't realize how important it is to keep your voice well trained. People don't realize that. They don't realize that. Hey,
why don't they realize that? That's my question.
Because for commentators, for announcers, play-by-play or color, it's second nature. And people take advantage of their voice.
Yeah.
I mean, funniest moments between me and Snowman was the one time we went to Denny's.
Oh God, yes.
And he had to prep for a game tomorrow, so he had to take care of his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And we kept going through all different items in the menu.
Yeah.
And one thing you really can't have, especially if you try to take care of your voice and your vocal cords, is dairy.
Ugh.
No milk.
Mm-mm.
And so we would look at something and like, oh, this is good, but there's ranch in it.
There's ranch in it. Yes.
And while someone's like,
half of that menu was no good.
Yep.
Because it had dairy.
Yep. No.
It had dairy.
And so it
was nuts.
Oh, it was amazing. It
was nuts.
So again, like,
let me make this announcement. I did tape an interview with Matt Taylor. You'll see it on the YouTube channel. I'm going to keep Victor here. I know I'm going to get socked in the mouth by an off the rails video from the comedic expert himself, but yeah,
the heavyweight comedic champion of the world.
Come on, what are we talking about here?
It's Cole.
Yes.
It's Cole.
Yes.
And I didn't get a chance to say it before we all had to depart. It is such a joy to have those post-show conversations with you and with Cole. I would love to have one with Wise, but like it's like you're sitting under the learning tree.
How long were we talking? Hour and a half?
Yeah, at least an hour and a half, because it was like 12. It was like 12:30.
We signed off at noon Eastern time. Next thing I knew, it was nearly 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was nearly 2 o'clock.
But getting a chance to
one
talk.
thing Jody is going to do for me is a to-do list.
Okay.
I do much better when I'm organized, and I'm trying to keep that.
It is a shame for me. Is one thing that I'm still trying to battle, and that is preparing a list of things that I need to do, not just at work, but also at home.
Also at home.
Because
I am the same way, and I have to change that.
My uncle has told me so many times, you need to start writing stuff down, like from the morning to afternoon to evening, whatever you want to do, whether it's get you a little exercise in, or like you take care of the rabbits, take care of the kittens.
Mm-hmm.
All those things do have to be mapped out,
mm-hmm.
and writing it down is still probably the best way to do it. I mean, it's something as simple as a grocery list. I find myself spending less time in the grocery store
when you have a list.
And you don't forget anything, because you go through your list. I got this. I got this. I got this. I got this. I got this.
And I have Cole prepared the slate for me for both shows,
mm-hmm.
and I am so grateful that he does. But the last few times I've been on, I flipped it, and I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I get why, because there are some stories that have like differential weights, like the situation I have with Bronny. We can understand that because that's a serious thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it is.
But we do have to like stay at least on task to say, okay,
and I will admit to you and everybody for both shows, I have been horrible at doing that. I have been absolutely horrible, and I don't want to be that anymore.
Right.
I don't want to be that way anymore.
And also when something takes over your heart, like about what happened to that young man who passed away.
Yeah.
That
time we can go off the rails. That time, the Scott Rowland story.
Yes.
Killed me.
Yeah.
That Scott Rowland's story with the young fellow that suffered through cancer and didn't make it, and Scott Rowland was there for him.
Yeah. And it's like
that hit me hard.
Yeah.
It did. That hit me hard.
I would say that, you know, we can keep them to a minimum and try to stay on task.
And I got to do better. I got to do better staying on task.
But what have we said ever since you and I first started being friends? Men F up. We as men, we make mistakes.
Boy, do we ever.
We learn from them and we keep it moving.
Yeah. And this is one of those times. I've admitted all my faults. I know there's more. I know that. I am 51 years old and I can't, run through shows like I'm 30. I can't.
Exactly.
I can't. This is one of the few times I'm feeling my age. Seriously.
Oh yeah.
This is one of the few times I'm feeling my age.
Trust me, I understand.
Do you turn 40 this year?
I do. I'll be able to take Dietz's intro to heart.
I've taken that heart plus 11 years now.
I know, right?
Victor Long joining me. And Victor, thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you, and thank everybody for getting me back on task.
No problem, man.
I realize I got to scale this. I got to scale it back to an hour. I ain't got a choice now. Well, I got to scale my live stuff back to an hour, which is something my beloved has begged me to do. So, Jody, baby, and everybody, I'm going to listen. My spider senses are tingling again, and this time I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
I got no choice but to pay attention. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate you, bro.
No problem, brother.
Matt Taylor after this. The thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
Hey y'all, Snowman here. Catch me, Cole Johnson, Wise El Jefe, Vicala, and the rest of the usual suspects and a few unusual suspects as we bring you 2 hours of the best sports talk you will ever watch and listen to. It's called Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Now on at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific on CSTV and CSTVNow.com. Join us, won't you?
One of the great things about ordering meals from Mother of Macros is that you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Click the national or local delivery link to access the menu, and we'll ship the meals right to your door. We understand you won't always have time to plan, shop, prepare, and cook to provide healthy nutrition for your family, so the process is simple and saves you hours. We know you're busy, so our meals are professionally prepared and packaged. You only need to heat them up and enjoy. We provide macro-balanced, delicious meals, chock full of fresh, local ingredients with none of the stuff you don't want to eat. Plus, our menu changes every week, keeping your taste buds wanting more. We take care of your meals so you can worry about everything else on your list. Mother of Macros.
I don't want to grow up. I'm basically a man-child.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
Rolling right along here on the Brian Snow Show. Thank you for joining us. Portions of this show are brought to you by SeatGeek. Looking for the best way to experience live events? Well, SeatGeek has you covered. With just a few taps on your phone, you can find the best seats for concerts, sports, theater, and more. Don't miss out on unforgettable moments. Download the SeatGeek app today and get ready for an experience like no other. Each ticket is vetted for authenticity and is ranked on a 1 to 10 scale. And right now, if you use the code Snowman, you will get $20 off of your first purchase. That's only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan. Speaking of fans, I'm a fan of one of the teams here in my beloved household. That, of course, is the Indianapolis Colts. And I'm also a fan of the gentleman who is their radio voice and has become a very good friend of mine. Please help me welcome Mr. Matt Taylor, the voice of the Colts. Good afternoon, Matt. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Football is back in full swing. Training camp is in full swing. This is Christmas for us.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah, we had report day earlier this week. Then we have first practice yesterday, second practice coming up Friday. Another big night practice for the Colts on Saturday. Both of those sessions, Friday and Saturday, coming up. They are sold out. So we're expecting, gosh, I don't even know, like 7,000 fans up at Grand Park in Westfield, Indiana, for training camp the next couple of days. Both of those days, respectively, over 7,000 fans just flooding the area. So it's very much a lot of excitement. Everybody's excited for the newness of the team, and very, very encouraged by just the certainly the positive optimism going forward surrounding this club.
Matt Taylor joining us here on the program. Asked some fans to drop some questions, and I got one from my buddy Dan Fitzgerald. It reads as follows. My question is, when do you think Anthony Richardson will be ready to be QB1? Will it be by midseason or later?
Yeah, I mean, that's the $64,000 question. I mean, I wish I had the answer, but I think as of right now, unfortunately, it's a pretty small sample size. We've only had one practice so far in training camp. We've only had a limited amount of time with Anthony Richardson in the OTAs and the mini camp. Yesterday's practice was the first day, and it was pretty light. It was only about an hour. Richardson was working out with the second team offense. Gardner Minshew took most of the first team reps, but after practice yesterday, Shane Steichen said, hey, now wait a minute, chill out. We're going to be flip-flopping these guys back and forth. Don't worry about the reps on a day-to-day basis. It's all going to work out. It's all going to smooth out. So, it's going to be a pretty fluid situation. So we'll see what happens tomorrow on day number 2 of practice. But, Richardson running with the twos, completed a couple of passes in 11-on-11 work, mostly red zone stuff. But certainly a long way to go in terms of us finding out whether or not Richardson's going to be that guy week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They also have Gardner Minshew, who can play. Very good veteran piece in this NFL with Shane Steichen. Same kind of offense, same coordinator, same scheme, thrive very well inside of it. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, long way to go the next 30 or so days in terms of finding out if Anthony Richardson's going to be the guy week 1.
You mentioned Gardner Minshew and how big he is as a veteran presence to this Colts offense, running the same kind of offense with reunited in a way with Shane Steichen. What does Gardner Minshew bring to the table with Steichen in tow, Anthony Richardson in tow, and this Colts offense?
Well, first, it's just mastering of the offense. He understands the playbook, and I think Gardner's been huge. He's been instrumental in helping translate the offense to basically everybody else that's here, including Anthony Richardson, right? He's talking about the rest of those skill players like Michael Pittman Jr. and Ashton Dulin and Mo Alley Cox, right? The guys that have been here a long time, they're up to speed on this offense in part because of Gardner Minshew being kind of like a coach on the field, because he's an extension of Shane Steichen in terms of the plays, the scheme, but also how he thinks, how to interpret things, how to read things, where to go, how to line up. All of that is Gardner Minshew really knowing the ins and outs of this offense. But I think personally, Gardner Minshew just has just perfect dynamic and personality for the situation that he's in, because he loves to compete. I mean, he's here for a reason, right? He signed a contract for a reason.
Yep.
So I think mindset-wise, he is approaching this opportunity like he's the guy, like he's the starter, but also at the same time, for lack of a better term, living in the real world, knowing Anthony Richardson's here for a reason. They drafted him where they did for a reason. But listen, if the Colts, if Minshew understands the Colts need him to play, he's going to be ready to play. And he's played at a high level in this league in prior stops. I mean, we saw it a couple years ago in 2020, week 1. I mean, Gardner Minshew was absolutely surgical against the Colts, playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, like 95% completion percentage that day.
Yep.
So he's had some big-time moments in the NFL, and the Colts feel pretty confident that, hey, if Richardson's, for whatever reason, not ready to go, Minshew can step in. He can be the guy, and the Colts are confident that Minshew's going to keep him in games and win ball games if it comes to that.
The voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, joining me here this afternoon, talking all things Indianapolis Colts. How about the running back situation with Jonathan Taylor? Any updates on his injury and when he would be available?
Yeah, no updates other than, he did go on PUP earlier this week. had that ankle procedure done in January in the offseason. That was obviously cause and effect. He had that ankle injury towards the end of last year, missed 6 games. So really no update as of right now. I mean, guys on PUP can come off of that list at any time. Cole said earlier this week that he's close, but just not ready enough, if you will, to participate in camp early on. They're going to obviously do right by the player. But, had that physical when he reported for camp on Tuesday. And just didn't come back clean enough to be out there to start the season. So really no update on Jonathan Taylor. I think that's going to be a day-to-day thing. Only other thing I would add is that he's out there, right? He's physically out there. He's able to move, right? He's able to be with his teammates on the field, watch, observe, and walk around and be with the team and, watch practice from an 11-on-11 standpoint. But no, nothing concrete as of yet on Taylor.
Taking a look at Jonathan Taylor's performance last year, did you see something injury-wise that kind of threw him off? Because I can look at a couple of games where, I know we talked about troubles with the offensive line, but did you see a couple of games where he was, I don't know, maybe thrown off physically because of that ankle?
I didn't. No, I really didn't. I think Jonathan Taylor's down season, if you want to call it that, because he did miss 6 games,
right?
And he did have that injury. I think it's just a product of the situation that he was in with a rotating cast of quarterbacks around him, the lack of mobility at quarterback around him, just playing stacked boxes for most of the season because of the Colts' inability to push the ball down the field. Mm-hmm. And again, that goes back to the quarterback play. Offensive line regressed last season, but again, I think that's because teams saw blood in the water. I mean, I've talked about it ad nauseum. I mean, those twists and stunts and all those line games, the Colts just never figured that out, right? That leaky faucet was never turned off because of their lack of mobility in the pocket with the quarterbacks they had last season. And the Colts offensive line didn't do a good enough job picking that up, and they just never figured it out. So hypothetically, with Richardson coming in here, just on paper, in theory, those boxes should be lighter because of the threat of him being able to run the football. But I would actually go the other way with Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I was just incredibly impressed and not shocked or surprised, but he still had huge moments with a compromised ankle last year. I can think of that big long run for a touchdown against the Raiders in Las Vegas in late November. I mean, so despite not being 100%, he still had a lot of Jonathan Taylor type moments, but they just had to shut him down because that ankle got too bad. The season was getting out of control. The playoffs were continuously being put in the distance. And so they had to think big picture on the franchise and think big picture on Jonathan Taylor and do right by him and get him ready to go for this upcoming season.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's going to be a big part of this offense, especially with Minshew and Richardson, taking the quarterback snaps. You were really bullish, and you said this last time I had you on. You were really bullish about the receiving core of the Colts. Talk about the receiving core of the Colts and what kind of wild cards they bring to the table for this Shane Steichen offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most positive signs from yesterday, the first day of camp, is he had a lot of bodies that missed time in the offseason back on day number 1 because of injuries, right? You had Michael Pittman Jr. back. You had Josh Downs back. You had Jelani Woods back. You're still missing Will Mallory. He, like Jonathan Taylor, is going to start the season on PUP.
Right.
He's got a foot injury. But the injury news or status of a lot of these players in a much better situation than compared to about 6 or 7 weeks ago, which is a really good sign. So I think that's one of the areas that I think the Colts are going to be able to surprise some people. And you don't absolve the wide receiver production from last year. I mean, listen, NFL, man, it's a bottom line business. You either got it done or you didn't.
Right.
But I just think a lot of their inefficiencies have been caused by the quarterback carousel and instability at that position. And so I think You're going to get Anthony Richardson, obviously, here for a long, extended period of time. But I think Gardner Minshew also represents, some consistency in his own right because of, he does have a degree of mobility. He really understands the offense. And it seems like during the offseason workout program, guys just gravitate to him both, from a personality-wise and just X's and O's and football IQ-wise as well. So I'm really bullish on Pittman's ability to, be the main target again like he has been the last couple of years, but take it to another level, right? I mean, get well over 1,000 yards, over 100 catches. I think that's going to be no problem for him this year. Ashton Dulin, I think, obviously capable of a lot more. Josh Downs is a receiver they just haven't had on this team from a skill set standpoint in the slot for a long time. So I think there's a lot of guys and a lot of playmakers here that can really step up. Alec Pierce in the deep passing game. Jelani Woods being the mismatch that he can be. Maybe he's the Dallas Goedert role, within this offense, like he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. Goddard, that is, with Shane Steichen. So I'm just really excited about the pass catchers, and I think they're going to surprise a lot of people this year in production and big playability, which they desperately need. That's been the missing key, really since the 2020 season. If you go back the last 2 years, the Colts have been over 250 passing yards in a game just 7 times. That's not going to cut it, and I think the receivers know that. I think they have a chip on their shoulder, and Reggie Wayne's going to get the best out of those guys who are all collectively coming back for another year here.
Reggie Wayne being the receivers coach, getting in their ears, getting them ready. How big is his influence, number 87, going to be for this receiving core coming into this year, knowing they have to step up their game and knowing they have to step up their production this year for the Colts?
Yeah, like I said, I think everybody kind of knows what the narrative is around these wide receivers, and they don't like it. They don't like to hear it. Reggie Wayne, one of the best receivers to ever do it. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday, and I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, too, as a coach. And I think all of these guys are just chomping at the bit to get out there, to prove some people wrong, to show their true abilities. Again, hopefully they can get some quarterback stability there to kind of help that. Obviously, you need that to foster those abilities. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, Reggie Wayne is huge in their development. Guys, they stick to him at practice. They take in every word that he says. Reggie, by all accounts, in the grand scheme of things, right, he's still a young guy, and he's very hip. He's huge into pop culture. So he can talk to these guys just like a person, right? Just understand where they're coming from. He knows what buttons to push. He also knows when to back off. But I think the biggest thing is he's been in their shoes. He knows how to push them. He knows how to get the best out of them. And I think that's very, very underrated, as having a former player of his stature and his status in that position to get the best out of those guys.
Matt Taylor, the fabulous voice of the Indianapolis Colts, joining me here on the Brian Snow Show this afternoon. Well, our coverage of the Colts will take you to and through the 2023 season as the Colts look for a real bounce back year. Thank you, my friend. I love you. I love having you on. I can't wait to have you on again.
You got it, man. Enjoy the rest of the summer and stay cool. It's smoking across the country.
It most certainly is. Thank you, Matt.
You got it. Be good.
Matt. That was Matt Taylor joining us here on the program. And thank you, Matt. You can see the interview on our YouTube page. Subscribe to Snowman Multimedia. I'm going to call a halt to this program this afternoon. And as I announced when Victor was on, scaling this back to an hour for now. And if and when, I'll say when, it goes back to 2 hours, a lot of this will be taped. And just realize physically that I did that interview, I want to say 45 minutes prior to air. And I haven't been obeying or paying attention to what I need to do to take care of my body and getting extra rest and all. And that's all my fault. So I'm going to call a halt to it this afternoon. I'm going to go feed some rabbits. And then I got a game later tonight with the Atlanta Dream and the New York Liberty. If something happens, I will alert everybody that that will tune in. God bless y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm out of here.
Thank you for tuning tuning into The Brian Snow Show, where sports is the base, life and fun are the results.